Imagine your morning routine. You might pour a glass of water, perhaps you make a cup of tea, you prepare a simple breakfast. It is a ritual repeated in homes across the globe. We do these things to nourish ourselves. We do them to sustain our bodies for the day ahead. But what if something else was on the menu? Something invisible, something you did not choose to eat. What if this hidden ingredient present in our food and water was silently working against us? This is the reality we now face. A substance is entering our bodies with every meal, and it may be slowly, methodically breaking down the very framework of our existence, our bones. This is not a story from a distant, polluted land. It is happening right here. It is happening right now in your kitchen. The threat is not a chemical with a long, complicated name. It is something far more familiar. It comes from the plastic that has become an inseparable part of our modern world. These tiny particles, fragments of a global convenience, are now found in the most intimate parts of our bodies. They have trespassed from our packaging and products into our very being, and scientists are just beginning to understand the profound and disturbing consequences of this silent invasion. So, what are these microscopic intruders? They are called microplastics. They are incredibly small pieces of plastic. The official definition, any piece of plastic less than 5 millimeters long. That is smaller than a single grain of rice. Some are so tiny they are invisible to the naked eye. You need a powerful microscope. Imagine a single grain of sand. Now imagine that grain shattered into 1,000 even smaller pieces. These are a fine dust that has settled over our entire planet. These tiny particles come from many sources. Some are manufactured on purpose, primary microplastics, tiny plastic beads in face washes, tiny plastic beads in toothpastes. The vast majority are secondary microplastics, from larger plastics breaking down. Plastic bottle battered by waves and sun, plastic bag snagged and torn on a branch, car tire wearing down, shedding tiny rubber particles. All this waste slowly crumbles into ever smaller fragments. The variety is immense. Fragments of everything we make from plastic, fibers from synthetic clothing shedding in the wash, tiny flakes from degraded food packaging, minuscule industrial pellets. How then do these tiny plastic fragments make the incredible journey from a discarded bottle or bag into the human body? The pathways are numerous. They are all around us, woven into the very fabric of our daily lives. The most common route is through what we eat and drink. Microplastics have been found in tap water all around the world. They have been found in bottled water, often in even higher concentrations. They flow from our treatment plants, which are not designed to filter out such minuscule particles. They seep into groundwater from contaminated soil. When you pour a glass of water, you are likely pouring a dose of microplastics as well. Our food supply is another major highway for these invaders. In the oceans, small creatures like plankton mistake tiny plastic particles for food. They eat them. Then a small fish eats the plankton. A larger fish eats that smaller fish. With each step up the food chain, the concentration of plastic can increase. When we then eat seafood like fish or shellfish, we are consuming the plastic that has accumulated inside them. Mussels and oysters, which filter large volumes of water, can be particularly full of these particles. They become tiny storage units for the plastic pollution in their environment. But it is not just seafood. Microplastics are in our soil. They come from plastic mulches used in farming, from compost contaminated with plastic waste, and from sewage sludge used as fertilizer. For a long time, the idea that plastic could be inside us was just a theory, a disturbing possibility. But in recent years, science has provided the undeniable proof. Researchers developed sophisticated methods to detect microscopic particles in human tissues, and what they found is truly shocking. Microplastics are not just passing through our digestive systems. They are being absorbed. They are crossing into our bloodstream. From there, they're transported all over our bodies. We are, in a very real sense, becoming plastic people. One early study looked for plastic in human stool samples. Scientists collected samples from volunteers across multiple countries. The results were unanimous. Every single sample tested positive for microplastics. That confirmed we ingest plastic regularly. But a crucial question remained. Was it just passing through, or was it moving deeper inside? The next wave of research answered that. Researchers looked beyond the gut into hidden parts of the body. Scientists began analyzing blood samples. With the knowledge that microplastics could travel anywhere in the body, a new and worrying question arose. Could they reach our bones? The human skeleton is a dense, complex structure. It is constantly being rebuilt by specialized cells. It's not as easily accessed as other parts of the body. For a long time, it was hoped that our bones might be safe from this microscopic onslaught. But recent scientific investigations have shattered that hope. The startling discovery has been made. Microplastics are embedding themselves deep within our bone tissue. They have been found in the bone marrow, the very factory where our blood cells are made. A pioneering study set out to answer this question directly. Researchers obtained bone samples from patients undergoing hip replacement surgery. These were people from different walks of life with different diets and habits. The scientists used advanced imaging techniques to scan the bone tissue for foreign particles. What they found was both groundbreaking and deeply concerning. In a significant number of the samples, they identified tiny particles of plastic. These were not on the surface. They were lodged deep within the bone matrix and inside the delicate structures of the bone marrow. The invaders had reached the last citadel. The types of plastic they found were the common culprits. The discovery of plastic in our bones was honestly pretty alarming. But the next question was even more critical. What is it doing there? Is it causing harm? New research is beginning to provide the answer, and well, the answer is yes. Several studies have now drawn a direct line between the presence of microplastics and a decline in bone health. They suggest that these tiny particles are contributing to weaker bones, more brittle bones. This could lead to a higher risk of fractures, osteoporosis. The silent invasion is not so silent after all. It is having a real, measurable, and damaging effect on our skeletal strength. One groundbreaking study compared the bone quality of patients who had microplastics in their bones with those who did not. The researchers used sensitive tests to measure bone mineral density. This is a key indicator of bone strength. The results were stark. The patients with detectable levels of microplastics in their bone tissue showed significantly lower bone density. How exactly could a tiny, seemingly inert piece of plastic weaken a structure as strong as a bone? The answer lies at the cellular level. Our bones are in a constant state of renewal. Two types of special cells are responsible for this process. Osteoblasts are the builders. They create new bone tissue. Osteoclasts are the demolition crew. They break down old bone. For our bones to remain strong, there must be a perfect balance between these two activities. Scientists now believe that microplastics are disrupting this delicate balance. They are sabotaging the work of our bone cells. One possible mechanism is direct interference with the osteoblasts. These builder cells need the right environment to do their job properly. They need access to minerals like calcium. They need to communicate with each other. Microplastics, as foreign bodies, may be getting in the way. Imagine construction workers trying to build a wall, but someone keeps throwing tiny pebbles into the wet cement. The scale of the microplastic problem can feel overwhelming. It is everywhere. But we are not helpless. There are practical, meaningful steps we can all take in our daily lives to reduce our exposure. These small changes can make a real difference to our personal health and to the amount of plastic entering the environment. The journey to a less plastic life begins in our own homes, with the choices we make every day. It is about becoming more mindful of the plastic we use and where it ends up. First, let us look at our water. Both tap water and bottled water can contain microplastics. Invest in a good quality water filter. Look for filters certified to remove microfine particles. Use a reusable water bottle made of glass or stainless steel. This reduces your exposure and stops another plastic bottle from entering the world. When you make tea or coffee, use filtered water. Simple choices like these cut down the amount of plastic you drink. Next, consider your food and kitchen habits. Choose fresh, unpackaged foods. Store leftovers in glass containers.